Hi, everybody. This is Freddie Gillespie, the chair of the Open Space Preservation Commission. I'm going to read our introduction that we're required to read for every meeting on Zoom. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, GLC 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Southborough Open Space Preservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website at www.southboroughtown.com/. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner by finding the meeting at www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. So, we're going to have a really abbreviated meeting. We want to get a few things done. So I'm going to start out by calling the meeting to order. We're having a quorum. Sarah and Karen, are you here?
Karen Spikovich is here, yes.
Sarah Rossitano is here.
And Freddie Gillespie here. So we have a quorum, calling it to order at 3:04. The first item on our agenda, I'm not even going to pull it up because we're just going to try to be really quick here and I don't want to make a mistake and take up too much time. Annual report. We have an annual report that originally was due already and has been extended to the end of December. I'd like to see if either of you could work on it. I'm not going to hold us to the end of December. If we get it done as soon as we can and get it in, that would be great. And if not, it will still be a record in our minutes in the future. Would either of you be able to work on that at your time frame within the next month or so?
Freddie, this is Karen. I would not be able to start working on it until the start of the new year, but yes, I can help with it. Yes.
Great.
I can help, but I might need help. I might need guidance.
Okay, so basically what we have in the annual report is to go through the minutes. And even though we had a pandemic and couldn't have a lot of our activities, we had a hugely successful year. Starting with the seed workshops, we had 2 of those that started us off in a great situation, so that come the summer, we had people who had plants who then donated them. We got hundreds of plants from that effort of ours donated back to us, which wasn't an original intent, donated back to us for the Beecology Research Garden that we oversaw, working with Professor Robert G. Geer, with the support of the Stewardship Committee, the Conservation Commission, and an amazing cadre of volunteers from the Native Plant Gardens of Southborough Facebook group, where we got that garden installed. And that is just a huge success story. And it also pointed to how valuable our open space is during a pandemic, because people could go outside, volunteer, and do something beneficial, nature-based, and be safe and have some amount of self-worth. That's not the point I mean, but, you know, feeling good about helping out, doing something volunteer, and having some sort of little bit of social activity, even though we were very safe, social distance and mask. So I think that was a huge thing that we can put in our annual report, as well as the supporting your chair being on a regional group, which is the what's the name of the group? The Metro West Conservation Alliance, the regional group for the Native Pollinator Task Force. We just had a webinar. I thought, and the presentation was mostly about our efforts at Breakneck Hill. And I thought there'd be like 25, 50 people signed up. We had 215 people register. So it shows we're doing something right. There's great interest in our efforts. So I'll move on from that, but that's sort of like it in a nutshell, but there's more to go through our minutes to see what else we've done. I wanted to update the EDC downtown bylaw. We were going to review it. I'd like this to be reflected in our minutes, that we have taken 2 of our meetings and gone through the proposed bylaw, 2 different versions, line by line, made recommendations back. The last one, there were no open space, green space in it. We made comments. We got a response back that they weren't going to have any green space, open space. But after that, I heard that it was changed and that was added in. There's more, and hopefully based on our comments helped with that. And there was so then there was another version sent out, I believe, from Mr. Purple, the town administrator. But I was going to have us go through that at our next meeting. But since then, I've heard there's been 2 more versions that they're keeping edits. And so I think at this point, from what I understand, they want to go to town meeting. They'll have to have a planning board hearing. I'm going to recommend that we take a vote that we will wait for the final version that's going to be presented at a hearing to the planning board to do our review, because we don't have the ability to keep reviewing version after version after version. And I think we've shown our good intentions and have provided valuable input. And I don't think our position will change on what we've already provided. And if somebody else agrees with that and wants to make a motion, I'd be willing to.
This is Karen, and I'd like to make a motion that we wait until the final version, and then we review it one more time to build on our previous comments.
Yeah, and I don't want to call it the final version because it's never, may not be.
Oh, okay.
The version that goes to
version?
the version going to the hearing at the planning board.
The version that goes to the hearing. So we're going to wait until we get to the version that goes to the hearing at the planning board, and then we'll make any final comments.
Okay. Thank you. Is there a second?
Sarah Rossitano, I'll second that motion.
Okay. All in favor? Roll call. Karen?
Karen Cvikovich in favor.
Sarah?
Sarah Rossitano in favor.
Freddie Gillespie in favor. Okay, so now the next thing is the definitive subdivision and lid special permit for 97 Mount Vickery Road. The after our last meeting, we did, where there wasn't a how do I put this? They had a subdivision plan that had no open space on it. And right after we met, we did get a sketch that included open space, but it didn't include the required amount. So at this point, we don't even need to review that, I don't believe. It has a our bylaw requires 10% of the entire site be open space, and they have 10% of the uplands in open space. So I would like us to make a, I don't know if we need a motion, but that we'll communicate with the project proponent and the planning board that we would expect there to be a plan that meets the requirement of the bylaw. And 2 additional points were that the requirement also includes 10% of each property, each parcel. So we'd like the parcels square footage listed, as well as the square footage of the open space in that parcel that represents 10% of the parcel, or a minimum of the 10% overall, and the reason why they wouldn't be meeting the requirement that it's in each parcel. Does that need a motion, or can we just by consensus do that?
Yeah, it sounds good to me. I'm happy to make a motion if necessary, but that sounds good.
So that will be the letter I communicate to the planning board and the project proponent. That's the position of the Open Space Commission.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Second one is Conservation Commission review. A lot of this is within the 100-foot wetland buffer, and within the last year or so, we went in front of the Conservation Commission after the St. Mark's site plan for the new dorms. We had some landscaping recommendations, and we were supposed to follow up with the Conservation Commission to offer those conditions as suggested for the Concom to use on their buffer permitting. Do you remember we went in front of the Conservation Commission?
Mm-hmm.
So we never followed up. I just got the conditions for the St. Mark's dorm site plan from the planning board, and I thought we should send those along to them to follow up on that prior meeting we had with them. So these were conditions we played an active role in actually writing and defining with the planning board. We had gone to the Conservation Commission and discussed it, and they would like a copy of it. And this would be our recommendation, that trying to standardize, so that it's not, each time there's a permit that you have to come and start from scratch. There's a lot here that would just, make its way through.
It would be much more efficient, yes.
Yes.
And get everybody aligned on these requirements.
Right. And certainly with every permit, the permitting authority, sees what's specific to that project and would adjust as needed. But this would be a great template. One of the things is that, we're talking about native ground covers. And in some cases and certainly at St. Mark's, there was a lot of lawn that was appropriate. But where there wasn't lawn, these other techniques were used, and that was in the permit. So shall I send this along?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
It's just a follow-up and I've sent you an email with that in it now. Okay. Or I will as soon as this meeting's over. It's actually, you could have gotten it online, but we wanted a Word copy so we could take out just the section that was relevant to the landscaping. All right. Next was town-owned open space. Capital Planning had looked at all. Did we talk about this last time? They looked at all the town-owned open space.
We did, and is this also in reference to that really great document that you sent out prior to the meeting of all of the town-owned land?
Yes, that was a presentation Lisa prepared. So we don't have time to go through those one by one today. That was the goal originally, but we know we have, and if anyone's watching, that we have some time constraints with members with some reasons why they can't stay long. So we will pick that up at another meeting. But I've sent it out and we should all look at it. I'm very familiar with all the parcels, and we were asked to give our position on those particular parcels.
Yep.
I hope it can wait until our next meeting, which I'm hoping we can have one at some point. Okay, the open space recreation plan, project partnerships. This was on our last agenda. We need to go through it much more carefully, but this is one item that's been on our to-do list for a long time. People retired or left the town, and staff people, so we hadn't followed through. These things happen. They get put on the back burner. This is, we had worked really hard on a Chapter 61 process for right of first refusal. It was based on a well-documented, accepted process that a land trust had drawn up, and then now DCR has adopted. So we went through it and we changed it just to meet the requirements of Southborough, because we don't have a mayor, but we have town meeting, and we put the names of our commissions and committees that would be responsible for different. Because so much time has passed, the next step that was supposed to happen is it was supposed to go to the Board of Selectmen. But because of the time that's passed and you have new members on a lot of these boards, I'd like us to recommend, because we were the driver of this project, that we bring it back to the Planning Board, Recreation Commission, and Conservation Commission for their review. And we can send it to the Master Plan Committee as well. We don't need their buy-in, I don't think, for the selectmen, but it wouldn't be bad for them to be aware of it. And then ask them all to vote that they support it, and then it will immediately, following those votes, be submitted for review by the Board of Selectmen. Does that sound like a? I just think
seems like a good
time.
process. Yes.
We already had, everyone's already approved it, but too much time has gone by, I think, to make it seem. Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so we'll follow up with that. The Native Pollinator Native Plant Initiative, and that's what, there's a couple of things here why it was important to meet today. The first item, I actually already talked about it under 97 Mount Vickery Road. That permit recommendation, we'll send that on to them. It's relevant to 97 Mount Vickery because there's a lot of wetlands there, but this was a general thing. Wildlife habitat certification. There's a Facebook group that wasn't quite live, I don't think, Sarah, is that correct?
It's live, but it doesn't have information yet because we were waiting for the press release.
Okay, so,
but
and if anyone's listening, we had a big plan to have a big kickoff for the, what was it going to be? The
Earth Day
Palooza, the 50th anniversary celebration. It was a week-long, series of events we had, lined up, and then got canceled because of coronavirus. So I'm just mentioning, I'm getting people hitting it. I see that happening.
Yeah, I see that.
Like, I don't know if it's the same person. So we will, is there a way to put something there that coming soon, or is there something on that Facebook page that says that?
Not coming soon, but we can do it.
Okay, just to let people know that this is a real thing, but it's just on hold for right now. I keep seeing garden party, but it's garden project at the library. This is moving forward, so that's great news. We're going to start looking at planning. Something came up at the selectmen's meeting because the town is considering, DPW is considering reconfiguring the St. Mark's Road that gets underwater there, and where the St. Mark's land is next to the library parking lot. So there could be additional benefit of a pocket park going in there. But I had conversations with Ryan. That is an additional to what we're working on, and would only be an enhancement, not instead of, or our plans are still full steam ahead. Okay. Then this is the one I need your your vote on, or your buy-in. Pollinator Habitat, the South Broken Land Foundation, SOLF, is going to be partnering with the Open Space Preservation Commission. They agreed to do so at their last board meeting. This is a really huge benefit that they will be working to put in at least a garden, maybe a meadow. It will evolve, seeing how it goes. But we will be working with a coordinator to help develop a volunteer brigade over there. But we don't want it to take away from our current volunteers working at the Ecology Garden. So we're going to be working with SOLF developing this volunteer effort, but it also goes to our planned seed workshop that we want to have on the beginning of the beginning of January. So I'm thinking the first, I'm looking at a calendar. Wow. January, is the 9th a Saturday on your January 21st, 2021? Does that look right to people?
Yes.
So January 9th or 16th, does that work for either of you, or you don't have to be there, but just let's try to plan it for one of those, okay? And
January 9th or 16th.
Or
So
I'm thinking a Saturday or a Sunday.
So I would be available the 9th, but not the 16th.
The 9th sounds
The
like a
16th
perfect date to do it.
I'll be back up in New Hampshire at my parents' on the 16th.
So we'll aim for the 9th. Sarah,
that's fine.
And we'll have other volunteers to help us. So what the goal would be for me to, if we vote to do this, that I will reach out to, I think the senior center would be the best bet, to have a drive-through pickup of seeds. So we'll have volunteers working on cleaning the seeds and putting them in little envelopes, right? And these are all plants that are on Dr. G. Gear's list for at-risk species. They will hand out the seeds and maybe a bag of dirt, and then people will drive through and pick it up, and then we'll host a webinar and that still needs to be worked out, but will be like a Zoom meeting with someone, with a PowerPoint or doing a video of them planting, how you make the jugs, and ahead of that, we will also send out list of supplies, and there's tons of videos online. So I think the idea of having the Zoom is more so people can feel they're a part of something, maybe get to know other people and ask questions.
Nice. Yeah.
I think there's value in creating the community. And one of the other values of this is people will get these plants, put them in their own yards, already be helping out the, headed towards extinction, bees and butterflies in their own yards. But what happened last year, as we found out, was that people had extras, lots of extra plants that they then donated back to the Breakneck Hill. And we could use this to donate back to the project, at Breakneck Hill, if there's another garden meadow going in, and also at the Beals Preserve, making it a real partnership where they're using their land, and we have some seeds that we give people who take home and grow the plants and then donate plants to that new habitat. Does that sound okay?
Yeah, that sounds great.
I'm really thinking it's quite exciting that, getting this, partnership and volunteers and people feeling good about doing nature-based activities, particularly where the end result hopefully will also be education, especially through the library garden. These plants aren't for the library, which we have because we got the grant, we have funding to buy plants there. Although you never know, we might need extras, and we can, if we need them, we'll have some. But I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. So we're all set on that, and I'll ask the senior center if we can, it just makes sense where you can drive in and drive out. We don't want people getting out of their cars, and we can just have a table we hand off the bag of seeds.
I think that's a good location.
That sounds good.
And if for some reason the library, first I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking, the library, but they're still under construction. I was picturing the library parking lot the way it used to be. There's also the townhouse, which on a Saturday or Sunday would be a second choice. And if not, we would look around for a third place, but I think the senior center should be a nice, happy selection. And then the last agenda item, I'm sorry, I'm just rambling off. That we normally would have much more discussion and input, but wanted to make sure we could get you guys out of here like you need to be. Minutes. Let me just see which. And I don't know why my computer does that lately. Does somebody have the date in front of them?
The minutes for December 3rd, 2020 are the ones that I think we need to approve.
Yeah. Can you guys wait 1 minute?
Sure.
South, do you have a minute there, Sarah?
Yep.
There was just a couple of easy edits.
I have them right in front of me. I can make the edits as you talk.
All right. It's just somehow my computer shut down and I'm just bringing it up now. Sam Stivers. Is he here in the meeting?
Yes.
Hi, Sam. I just said your name because I'm opening up my email and I see I got a response to you. And I'm going to bring that up in a second. All right. Oh, yeah, these are things for another meeting. I think it was the MCA you had listed MAC that needs to be corrected.
Oh, it should be MAC instead of MCA. Is that right?
Metro Waste, no, MCA.
MCA. Oh, okay.
Is
I see
that correct?
MCA. On the update MCA native plant pollinator task force. Did I have it wrong some other place?
I guess not. I must have thought it was wrong. All right. I think that I can't find it. It wasn't crucial. I'm
happy to say we're totally up to date on minutes now. So everything's been sent in to Amy. So.
Oh, there was
That's
one other comment.
thing.
Under the third bullet down, definitive subdivision and lid in the minutes.
On the third bullet down.
The third open circle under that. Karen makes a motion.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Oh, that's a motion, so it's okay. I would just, I'm not going to change it because it was a motion.
Okay.
The reason we were weighing in on the low impact development later is because they didn't have the correct amount of open space, but never mind. So I made you wait all for nothing. Let me just see under our there's something else coming up, but I can't talk about it because it's not on the agenda.
Okay.
I don't see how it would fit. So we'll discuss at our next meeting other partnerships and trail possibilities and access to other open space properties that we've talked about before.
That sounds good.
Put that on the next agenda. Okay.
All right. Very good. So am I assuming that these minutes, someone want to make a motion to approve these minutes?
Oh yeah. What was the date?
The minutes of December 3rd.
I'll make a motion.
They don't need any edits. Go ahead.
To approve the edited minutes of December 3rd's meeting.
Yeah, no edits. That was me.
I just corrected one spelling mistake. That's done.
Oh, okay. So as edited. All right.
As edited.
So the motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
And all in favor by roll call?
Karen Cvikovich in favor.
Sarah Rossitano in favor.
Freddie Gillespie in favor. And that passes. I don't have public comment, but I don't know that it's inappropriate ever to ask if anyone who's visiting with us had anything they wanted to add to our meeting. Is there a hand up? I can't see anything.
I don't see anything.
Okay. No, well, thank you for attending. Thank anyone who's watching, and stay tuned for our next meeting. That won't be quite so
wonderful
fast.
And if I don't speak to either of you before, please have a fabulous holiday, and I hope your kids feel better, Sarah.
Thank you. Do we need to make a motion to end?
Yes, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
And can we make that motion to make sure everyone has a happy and joyous Christmas and holidays and Happy New Year? So I amended your motion. Is there a second?
I'll second that, Sarah Rossitano.
All in favor? Aye, Freddie Gillespie.
Karen Spikovich in favor.
Sarah Rossitano in favor.
All right. So
meeting